Hi, my name is InnerSpace Explorers. Today we want to show you how to set up a regulator set DIR style, and therefore we have a couple of components here. The brand new Scobro Mark 25 Evo with an A700 second stage, some MyFlex hoses, new SPG, some bungee cord, Boltsnaps, a couple of tie wraps, Cayzland, and some basic tools. So whenever you're ready, let's get started and assemble it. Okay, let's start disassembling the regulator as it comes, because we cannot use the standard hose. So first thing is to pull back the hose protector, take an open spanner number 14 and unscrew the hose from the first stage, and then pull back the hose protector from the second stage and disassemble this. If you do not have the proper screwdriver tool, you can use a pipe wrench, otherwise you use the screwdriver tool. And then the hose can go. Same thing with the second regulator. And again the second stage. Alright, so now we have all the parts that we need, and we will start with the right first stage. And the first thing we do here is we open the head port, because this is where our inflator hose goes. So we take an Allen key, open it, and put it aside. So here's our inflator hose, 22 inch, that goes in this head port. Screw it in and tighten it with a number 14 wrench. So the second hose that goes on there is our 7 feet, 2.10 m hose for our primary regulator, and this goes in one of the 4 side plates. Screw it in and tighten it with the wrench. So the last step is our second stage. So have a look if the O-ring is greased properly, everything's good here. Put it on hand tight, and then take a number 17 spanner and just tighten it so you cannot unscrew it with your hands. There's no hose protector on it, because I want to have visual control on this spot where usually the hoses start to leak. So if there's a protector over it, it doesn't protect it, it just prevents me from seeing small bubbles, and therefore it's not a good idea. Alright, so we can take this one away and continue with the left first stage, which carries our backup regulator. Again, we open the head port, and we close the port where originally the regulator was, because we don't need it. And as we have the Allen key in our hand, we can also open the port for the SPG, which is the one on the left side. Alright, so 22 inch 56 centimeters regulator hose that goes on the head port. Alright, and then 22 inch SPG hose that goes on the left side of the first stage. Again, fix it. Alright, next part is the SPG and the swivel. So the swivel needs a little bit of grease. So put a little bit of grease on this one and push it in the SPG, and then we use a little bit of grease on the other side of the O-ring, and then wrong hose, this one, screw it in the SPG hose, hold this and tighten it with a spanner. Now here comes the second stage, again hand tight, and then with a 17 spanner. Alright, next step. The next thing is, on our backup regulator we want to install a bungee cord. So you need to see if it's the correct length. I prepared that already, so when you put it around your neck, it should be around here, so nice and easy. So we want to do a knot here in the end, so it's not slipping through the tie wrap. What we do is an 8 knot. And then cut off the excess, take a lighter and make sure this is molded down nicely. Same thing here, make an 8 knot. Pull it tight, cut off the excess, and mold it down. So now this is ready. On the regulators there's some sort of a special tie wrap that holds the mouthpiece. We have to remove this, a pair of scissors or a screwdriver. I will open this up so this can go, and we take a classical tie wrap, put it around, and then take our bungee cord on the side of the regulator, and then we close this one and pull it tight, and you see this is nice and easy. And now you do not take a pair of scissors and cut this one off, because it leaves a sharp edge. So you take a very sharp knife, like a carpet knife. Watch your fingers, and take this off so you have a nice and smooth edge here. Alright, so now it's almost ready. What we are still missing is the bolt snap that goes on the SPG, and therefore we take some Cayzland. I like to mold it down right in the beginning so it's not opening up. So you make a loop, take it through the eye and over the bolt snap, and then you have this. There's this groove right on the hose, and this is where you go, and then one, twice, and then you put it down, and now they come up left and right, and you make a knot over the wrapping, and then the second one, which means it is a cross knot. It's not going to open up by itself. Pull it tight, take the scissor, And now it's important, I see a lot of people just melting down the ends of this because they think this should prevent the line from splitting up, but it's not true. You want to melt it down all the way to the knot and then press it on the knot so the knot's not going to open up. And this is what we do now. So you can actually see this forms sort of a small bubble, and then you take the lighter and press it straight on the knot. And this knot's not going to open up at all, so we have a nice and stable connection here. And so our backup regulator is ready. Right hoses, bungee cord, bolt snap, everything done. So the next thing is our primary regulator that is also missing a bolt snap that goes on the hose. We take a small one because the part that we used to work with, which is the lever here, is the same size on all bolt snaps. So there's no need to put 1 kilo of bolt snap next to our mouth, which is not very comfortable. And now what I see a lot of times is that people take their bolt snaps straight to the second stage, which is not a good idea for 2 reasons. First of all, if you have thick mitts and you try to grab the regulator, you usually grab it like that, and then you have covered the bolt snap and it's very hard to get a good grip. So it's much easier if it is like one hand away like this. And second thing is if it is hanging on your chest D-ring here, on your shoulder D-ring here, and you can still breathe it because you have a little bit of hose left. And so in an emergency you do not have to unclip it, or if you cannot unclip it for some reason, you can still reach it with your mouth. So let's have a look at the knot here. Basically I'm doing the same of what I did with the SPG. Take a piece of line, make a loop, goes through here. And again we have this, and then I take one hand, and this indicates where I want to go with my knot. So I wrap this around 3 times. Yeah, so it is great in front of a camera. Usually it works much nicer because you do not think about it. So once, it's actually great if you have somebody to help you here who can actually hold the hose and the bolt snap straight while you are performing this. And when you're around there the 3rd time, again you tie it down over the wrap. Now you still have the possibility to adjust a little bit. Make this really tight because this knot actually defines how tight it is on the hose. And now you make a cross knot again. Take your scissors, cut it off. And melt it down all the way down to the knot and press the then liquid material on the knot so it prevents the knot from opening up when it's getting wet. So you see, very stable, cannot slide back and forth, it's one hand away, and therefore very easy to grab and then to clip off. Alright, that's it. Our regulators are done and we can screw them on our tanks and start a dive. Alright, after I showed you how to assemble the regulators, I would like to show you how to put them on a set of doubles, also to explain a little bit more in detail why we put the regulator hoses in the positions that we put them. And therefore we start with our primary regulator. We always start with the primary when assembling our rig, because then the backup regulator comes on top and that allows for a nice and cleaner configuration. So the first step is to take the second stage and clip it off to prevent it from falling. Remove the dust cap. And then we put the first stage in about a 45-degree angle and screw it down. Perch the bottom and pressurize it, no leak, which is good. Then we route the hose, which you can see now has the exact length to match the inflator hose. This is why we have it in the 22-inch size. So a couple of rubber rings to hold it in place, and now it's on the inflator. So nice and streamlined configuration. You see the hoses have no sharp angles. This can go behind the wing if it's a horseshoe, or it can go in front and then underneath the light canister if it is a donut wing. Now the second regulator is our backup, which now, as I said before, goes on top of everything else, which allows it to go nicely in front without getting in conflict with the other hoses. Again, 45-degree, pointing inward. Okay. Now the SPG hose goes in front of the wing and is clipped to the hip D-ring. Again, you see the length of the hose makes absolute sense. And the backup regulator now is free. It's not behind those hoses, which would actually make it stick to the side of your neck. So it's free and goes around the neck of the diver, and you have a nice streamlined configuration. This one then goes around your neck. Now just for display purpose, we do it like that. And you see that this hose configuration makes a lot of sense. You can now also nicely see the benefit of the swivel first stage, because if you donate the regulator and you give it towards your partner, actually the swivel turns and the hose points into that direction. If that would be a fixed first stage and the hose would point down, you have a lot of stress exactly on the point where it is crimped, which is not good. So on this stage it turns to the front and is not bended at all, which is much more healthy for the hose. Alright, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us at any time or talk to any of our instructors. We're always happy to help you.